They're calling it the Left Behind Bowl. Number 14, Oregon State, and number 21, Washington State are the only two teams in the Pac-12 that still don't have a home for next season. But that's clearly not fazing either of them, as both teams enter at 3-0 and are set to square off in Pullman for a massive, massive showdown. And now the million-dollar question is, who is going to get this huge resume-boosting win and improve to 4-0 and remain as a legitimate Pac-12 title contender? Well, that's the question that we're going to answer today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today, ready to break down everything you need to know for the Beavers and the Cougars on Saturday night. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. We are beating out over 80% of the national handicappers and have done so each of the last 5 years. We're hitting over 67% in our best bet section. So if you want guaranteed winnings, guaranteed winning record, and the best customer service any handicapper in the country can give you, well, this is the place for you. Go sign up today for that full year-long subscription and check out our Patreon account and our mailing address as well to send us some of your team's gear and also to unlock some exclusive college football content year-round. So let's take a look at this game, guys. I love it. I love it. I love the Pac-12 as a whole this year. I think it's a big shame that the conference is dissipating after this year. But what I love the most is the fact that the two teams that have been left in the dust, everybody's left for the Big 10, the Big 12, or the ACC, but the two teams that have been left standing, and everybody's like, you're on your own, kid, are Oregon State and Washington State, and both are top 25 teams, both undefeated, both playing amazing football, and are set to square off in what is going to be one of the more underrated games of Saturday night. These two teams have been disrespected in their own conference, and they're being disrespected nationally because not enough people are talking about this game on Saturday. And it's going to be a great one. You take a look at the offense. We'll break down both teams here. We'll start with Oregon State, the road team. The Beavers have really impressed me this year. Jonathan Smith as a whole, what he has done at his alma mater has been extremely impressive. But this offense this year has been very balanced, and that's what's been probably the most impressive. We knew Oregon State was going to be a run-heavy team. They were last year, and they succeeded at it, winning 10 games. They're averaging over 460 yards per game this year, 247 through the air, 219 on the ground. And again, we knew the run game was going to be good with guys like Damian Martinez and Deshaun Fenwick. But the key story all offseason long, and the guy that we thought maybe could take Oregon State to that next level, was DJ Uiagalelei, the transfer quarterback in from Clemson. And he has been great. He has been awesome. I think many people joke about it, but it's true. He clearly, at least to us, was not the problem at Clemson these last few years. And that was also evident by Clemson's Week 1 loss to Duke. But you take a look at DJ Uiagalelei, 630 passing yards this year, 6 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. Also has 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. This is a very good quarterback. He's an accurate quarterback. He's a smart quarterback. And it is that X factor for Oregon State. We knew they were going to be dominant on the ground, but they needed a game changer at quarterback, which they really haven't had in a very long time. DJ Uiagalelei provides that. So you've got a solid quarterback, you've got solid running backs, you've got a solid wide receiver core, and you've got one heck of an offensive line that's only given up 1 sack all season long. And take a look at Washington State. I don't want to say are the opposite of Oregon State, but in a way they are. They are not balanced in the slightest. They are an air-it-out team, and honestly, why wouldn't you be when you've got a heck of a quarterback in Cam Ward? So talk about a fantastic quarterback battle here between DJ Uiagalelei and Cam Ward of Washington State. They are certainly, for me, Oregon State's balanced, they're methodical, they're efficient. Washington State can be those things too, with the exception of balance, but they are certainly more explosive. 535 yards per game, 397 of those are coming through the air. Cam Ward has nearly 1,000 yards, 986 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 0, not a 1 interception this year. Taking phenomenal care of the football. Keep in mind, Washington State has defeated in dominating fashion Colorado State, who nearly took down Colorado, and then beat Wisconsin in Pullman. Has by far the more impressive victory on their resume between these two teams. Cam Ward, a major reason for that. Cam Ward also the leading rusher for the Cougars right now with 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Washington State not being balanced. I mean, let's be honest here. The leading rusher only has 95 rushing yards. That tells you everything you need to know. 5 players, though, do have over 100 reception yards, led by Lincoln Victor, 352 yards and 3 touchdowns on the year. And really, for Washington State, the game and the offense goes as Cam Ward goes. And that sounds cliche, and it's like, yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. The game goes as the quarterback goes. But it's true, because if Cam Ward goes down, if Cam Ward struggles, there is no other alternative. You can't say, okay, you know what, we're going to turn to the run game, because there is no run game. You can't say, okay, we're going to go to our backup quarterback, because there isn't another Cam Ward on this roster for Washington State. The game goes as Cam Ward goes. He's done a great job of taking care of the football. He has been very electric. He's been accurate. He has given that big playability, and that's why they have won 3 games, and really all in dominating fashion. That Wisconsin game looks closer than it was. Keep in mind, Washington State was up, 24-6 in that game at one point? This is a good Cougars team and one heck of an offense. The defense, though, that is where this game will be made, right? Oregon State has one heck of a defense. Always strong and has been under Jonathan Smith. 260 yards per game, that's all they're giving up. 202 through the air, only 57 on the ground. That is a very impressive number, but unfortunately for Oregon State, doesn't mean much in this game because the Cougars aren't going to run the ball that often. They're not a run-heavy team. I would be shocked if Washington State eclipsed like 80, 90 rushing yards in this game. I don't expect them to attempt to run very often, and if they do, I don't expect them to have that much success. They are going to air it out as much as they can with Cam Ward. Should be mentioned, though, that Oregon State's defense we know is good. It's going to be good all year long, but the strength of schedule compared to Washington State's has not been there. They've only played San Jose State, UC Davis, and San Diego State, of course, winning all 3 by double digits. They haven't faced any good quarterbacks this year, though. They haven't faced any offense as electric and high octane and as fast as Washington State. So this is going to come as a bit of a culture shock for the Beavers. It's going to be their first true test of the year, and it's going to be their first true test defensively of the year. But I will give them credit. They do have 12 sacks on the year. They're averaging 4 sacks per game so far this year. And this is a kind of an X factor, a key for the Beavers this year. Can they create pressure on Cam Ward and Washington State? Can you back the Cougars up into 2nd and 3rd and long situations where, of course, they're obviously going to have to air it out, but picking up a 3rd and 18 is a lot more difficult than picking up a 3rd and 3. At least you maybe have an option to run the ball there. Who knows? So can Oregon State generate enough pressure on Cam Ward and a Washington State offensive line that's only given up 7 sacks this year? Can they do that? Can they get them behind the chains? Or will Washington State's offensive line hold strong? That is the question. When you look at Washington State and their defense, that's Jake Dickert's specialty, right? He's a defensive-minded coach. It's what ended up getting him this head coaching job, getting that interim tag removed just a few years ago, and he's done a phenomenal job as the full-time head coach in Pullman. This team so far is giving up 364 yards per game, 268 of those coming through the air. Intriguing number there. They've got to find a way to stop DJ Uiagalelei. Don't allow him to go off. Don't allow him to go light up your secondary. All right? Colorado State's got a pretty decent quarterback. They've got a pretty decent passing game. We know that. They threw for nearly 400 yards last week against Colorado in Boulder. Then they faced Tanner Mordecai the very next week. Solid quarterback out of Wisconsin. So this is a team that certainly has been more battle-tested defensively than Oregon State has. They're only giving up 95 rushing yards per game, and that's kind of a key number there. More than anything, if you're Washington State, I think you hone more in on the run than you do the pass. Right? We know that Oregon State has a heck of an offensive line. We know they want to run the football. We know they want to remain balanced. Don't allow the Beavers to come into your house and get up for 150, 200 rushing yards on the day. Stop the run. Find a way. Force DJ Uiagalelei to win this game by himself. Because that's something he hasn't had to do this year with the Beavers. And that's something that he really didn't have to do that often at Clemson last year. And when he was put in that position, he didn't perform very well. He really didn't. So far this year, DJ Uiagalelei, the most passing yards he has through 3 games is 284. That was last week against San Diego State, where he went just 14 of 30 for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. This Washington State defense has 6 sacks on the year. They have forced 5 turnovers. And I'm telling you right now, if they can force DJ Uiagalelei in a couple of mistakes, they're going to win this game. If Washington State forces 2 turnovers, they win this game. That is your X factor. Stop the run, contain it, force DJ to win it through the air, kind of put the weight on his shoulders. He's looked good against some inferior opponents. How does he look now in a hostile environment against an offense that they may have to keep up with? If Washington State's lighting it up, can Oregon State match them? And can he play some mistake-free football? I'm going to tell you right now, I believe my answer to that is going to be no. I don't think he can. I don't think Oregon State can. And I do think that Washington State pulls off the upset in Pullman on Saturday night. It's a battle of the Beavers defense and the Washington State offense. But when we end this game on Saturday, sure, we'll talk about Cam Ward and how great the offense was, but we'll talk about Washington State's defense and how they were the difference maker in this game, how they forced at least 2 turnovers, and they got this win over Oregon State. Pullman, guys, it's no slouch. I think it's one of the more underrated places to play, not just in the Pac-12, but in the country. They are a tough out. The crowd's going to be rocking, hosting a top 25 opponent, playing in a top 25 showdown. The team has looked good so far this year, and I'm telling you guys, if Oregon State finds themselves down early, if they get down, 10, 13, 14, nothing early, I don't think this team can battle back. I don't think they can bounce back if Washington State goes out there and sets the tone early. And I believe they will. Just like they did a couple weeks ago against Wisconsin. I believe Washington State comes out, they start fast, they start strong. Jack Dickert has his team ready to go. Pullman is rocking. And while this game will be close in the end, it will be, Washington State gets the win over Oregon State, and they solidify their case as a legitimate and true Pac-12 title contender. Back in the preseason, nobody was talking about the Cougars being a legit Pac-12 title contender. But by the end of Saturday night, we definitely will be. So there you have it, guys. Washington State over Oregon State, one of the games of the week. Talk about it more. It deserves the hype. It deserves the attention. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos here at the channel. We do appreciate you all for watching. Check everything out down in the description below, including our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, you can get all of our expert picks over there that have beat out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 5 years. And our best bet section that's hitting over 67% so far this season. Go check it out. The link down in the description below, as well as our Patreon account and our mailing address to send us some of your team's gear to be featured in every single video. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your college football Saturday, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.